satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream.
While some young people demonstrate for peace and others seek it in the artificial solace of drugs, here in New York, Swami Satchidananda teaches another way to peace.
In 1966, the filmmaker Conrad Rooks invited Indian yoga master Swami Satchidananda to the West. Rooks had studied yoga with the Swami in Sri Lanka and wanted to continue. Pop artist Peter Max, who was working with Rooks on a film in Paris, offered to host Swami Satchidananda in New York.
And I knew that America, everybody was experimenting and everybody was trying to find another way of expanding the mind. The yogic type of thinking about love and peace, it was in the air, it was sort of a fashion. But for it to really become part of your lifestyle, not just an idea, was very, very big. And I said to him, I said, Swami, America needs you. And I remember he kind of laughed and he slapped his knee and he said, why, America needs me? And he said, well, if America needs me, maybe I'll come.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
The Swami, now lovingly known as Gurudev by his students, arrived in New York City in July of 1966. Peter Max arranged for a group of his artist friends to meet Gurudev.
I started making phone calls. You know, I was in Paris, I brought this great Swami here, I want you to come over tomorrow. And I made about 30, 40 phone calls. And everybody showed up the next day.
The first group of people who were around me, they just were lying down on the floor, showing their feet right over my face and blowing cigarette and say, Swami, could you tell us something about yoga? Oh boy, yes, certainly there was a little cultural difference. I could say a mild shock, because I didn't expect that. True, I fitted their image because I had a long beard, because they read about a guru coming from the Himalayas. And so that gave them a little comfort.
I mean, being in a rock band at the time was to be exposed to almost every kind of like vice known, to man, Prior to the Beatles, there was really not a lot of knowledge, about Eastern, especially from the yogic source and from the Hindu sources. It's so radical to what we kind of brought up with. I mean, I was brought up in the Roman Catholic persuasion, it was like, what? What do you mean you don't eat any meat? What do you mean you don't eat any fish? Are you okay?
Soon, Peter Max and friends arranged for the first Integral Yoga Center in New York at 500 West End Avenue. Yoga classes began, and the story might have remained there on West End Avenue, except for a last-minute urgent phone call. Gurudev got that call in August 1969. A certain music festival was about to start far from Manhattan. The crowd of young people was massive, almost 500,000. Police feared it might go out of control. Woodstock's organizers told the guru they needed him to race to the scene to lay down some peaceful vibes.
My beloved sisters and brothers, I am overwhelmed with joy to see the entire youth of America gathered here in the name of the fine arts of music.
The high visibility he earned at Woodstock gave him an historic opportunity to serve. He recognized the power of the moment. There was a flood of interest from aspiring yogis. So in 1970, Gurudev opened a second center in New York City, the Integral Yoga Institute at 227 West 13th Street. Students came for hatha yoga classes and discovered the peace that was already dwelling within themselves. They also got to ask Swami Satchidananda for his guidance in their lives. The Integral Yoga Institute, New York, became a lighthouse for people of all faiths who wanted to live happier, healthier lives. Many students also went to hear him speak at the Universalist Church and at other venues. Here are some of the magical moments of Swami Satchidananda, his students, and the unique role that Integral Yoga Institute of New York played, bringing peace and joy, love and light to America and the planet. It's a spiritual odyssey that has already spanned half a century and continues to this day.
So if you can stay centered, you can even help solve the problems. So instead of creating problem, try to solve the problem by maintaining your peace. When the mind is kept balanced, we can always find solutions behind every problem. We can not only help ourselves, we can help others also. And let's not waste too much time in thinking of others and their problems, their mistakes. Look within, look within. That way, the place where you are, remember that's also part of the world. The world is not just only the ground you are standing on. You are also part of the world. You are a miniature world yourself. If you become clean, pure, peaceful, happy, the world has become a little happier, a little peaceful. So let it start with you. And then by your being that way, let others get inspired. I was about to say you can inspire others. You don't have to worry about even that. Because if you want to inspire others, and if they don't get inspired, you'll get upset. So even that is not your job. You just stay like that. Happy, joyful, peaceful, useful. Let others get inspired.